Okay, welcome back to the show, folks. So welcome to the show. If you're just now joining us, we appreciate you listening to us and spending some time with us on your fine Sunday evening here in Central Florida as autumn rolls in with the harvest moon tonight. And it's still cloudy out there tonight. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it anywhere but on television from somewhere else. But it will be great if we can see it. But nonetheless, we will be experiencing it whether we see it or not, kind of like us here. You can experience us whether you see us or not. But
some of us sound better than we look.
Well, people can find out for sure tonight by going to our YouTube channel, which again,
Adversaries TV on YouTube. Type in Periscope and you'll find us.
Otherwise, just come to Cafe Positano on Monday night.
Tomorrow night, that's right, for our live 2-hour broadcast and our spaghetti eating contest and other festivities. Everyone is invited. There is no cover charge. And come on out and join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have raffle drawings. We're going to draw our winner for our Who's Come Sail Away With Me cruise. Some member of our American Adversaries Army is going to have the opportunity to go on that cruise for free. And we'll find out who that is tomorrow night. So we're going to have a lot of fun.
And for the weigh-in, just for everyone's information, I'm 200 and plenty.
And we got plenty more to talk about tonight, folks. Real quick, I mentioned this earlier, but I'll mention it again in case some of you may have missed it. In the second half of this hour of the show, in other words, starting here in about 30 minutes, we're going to replay an interview that we did this past week on our Drive Time show with Robert Spencer. He's a great authority on Islam, especially for an infidel, and so he has written a book called The Complete Infidel's Guide to ISIS, and it is an excellent book. I highly recommend you get a copy of it because we need to know our enemy, and he identifies the enemy. I mean, right down to the leadership, identifies them, tells you who they are. He identifies Americans who have gone there and people from Great Britain who have gone there from decent lives, and why they have gone, and why they are right now winning the battle in the Middle East. And but we'll play that in its entirety the next half hour of this show, hour of the show. So we're going to go ahead and do our Who Said That contest right now. So get those phones out, get ready to call us at 407-774-8255. Looking for someone who has never won before or possibly hasn't won in a long time. So to come up with tonight's answer. It's a great quote, and it just really sums up our world. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, this is a lousy world" and all that. Well, I think this quote really kind of sums it up if you think about it. So tell us who said, "If the world were perfect, it wouldn't be." That's it. If the world were perfect, it wouldn't be, as in would not be. Who said that? And it is a perfect thing that philosophers and theologians have debated, why does God, give little kids cancer, and why do bad things happen to good people? And because if we lived in a perfect world where those things didn't happen, we would not know joy in our heart. You cannot know joy without knowing sorrow. It's just the way it is. If you do not know the bad, you cannot know the good. If you do not know the darkness, you cannot see the light. So if the world were perfect, it wouldn't be. Once again, we're looking for a new winner, someone who's never won before, or someone who's not won in a long time. Give us a call at 407-774-8255. I want to continue to talk about the Pope a little bit as he wraps up his visit to the United States tonight with the massive mass in Philadelphia, and they expect it could be as many as 1 million people turning out for this mass. And the Pope, of course, delivered the message in front of Congress the other day. Then he went to New York, and it's been all about essentially his message of pacifism and shall we say social-leaning economics. And his message, of course, as I mentioned earlier, coincides perfectly with that of liberals. I said this the other day, that after he spoke in front of Congress, I said it would be a speech any liberal would love. If you don't believe me, just turn on the TV because the liberals are loving it. And that should tell you something about it. And, of course, everyone thinks that's wonderful, and which, however, means that if he's calling for more civility in a place like the Congress, obviously you wouldn't think that he'd be calling for that civility from people that he agrees with. Obviously, he's calling for compromise from the people that don't agree with him.
Which is?
The conservatives.
Right. But, Chris, you concern me right now.
How so?
Are you feeling okay?
Well, yeah.
Because you're going so PC on this Pope, I cannot believe it, man.
Well, what do you mean PC? This guy...
Socialist leaning. What BS is this, man? Tell it like it is.
All right, the Marxist Pope that we got. You brought it out of me. Now you're satisfied? Okay. He's trying to, I believe, make a place for Catholicism in a socialist Marxist world. And the way that he does that is by making Catholicism a part of that ideology.
But that's like saying making Christianity part of the Muslim world, and it ain't going to work.
Well, and as a matter of fact, one of the things that he has called for is religious tolerance.
Right. He's had Muslims praying at the Vatican.
Right.
Hasn't ever asked the Jews to come, though, but Muslims, yes.
And I guess he's never asked to go to Mecca or Medina in Saudi Arabia and pray in front of the Kaaba. I mean, the Kaaba.
If he did have to go, they'd make sure there's no bodyguards. They could part his head from his shoulders.
Right. He's trying to reinvigorate the church, but I think also that something he said when he was talking about immigration kind of says it all. He said that it's the responsibility of people who come here as immigrants to retain their culture and to change our culture with their culture.
Right. They're not supposed to integrate with our society.
Okay.
We have to accept them and become integrated in theirs.
Okay. Other than Mexicans who have come here illegally, and generally speaking, they don't come here to change our culture as much as they come here to take advantage of our culture. Who else has ever come here with the intent of changing our culture rather than becoming assimilated into it?
Well, let me see. What religion would that be?
Yeah. Islam.
Right.
Right. See, the Pope is working hand in hand with this administration to make this administration's policies palpable to some 70 million Americans who identify themselves and are practicing Catholics. So what he is doing is he is saying, if you are a good Catholic, these will be the political stances that you take. And, of course, he's talking about liberal political stances. And once again, the one political stance that he supposedly takes is against abortion, which was barely mentioned. It wasn't even mentioned directly in any of his speeches here, especially not to Congress. And I was a little bit disappointed with Ted Cruz. Now, I understand Ted Cruz is a Catholic, and he's caught up in the moment, perhaps, and he doesn't want to offend any Catholics, and he thought the Pope's speech to Congress was a great speech the other day, and the Democrats, I'm sure, are now frightened and shaking by this Pope's stance on abortion. I'm sure you didn't believe that when you said it, Ted, so don't say things like that again, because this president is not shaking at anything that this Pope is saying unless he's shaking his head up and down nodding in agreement.
Right. But you know what else? I'm wondering whether the Pope has now granted permission for Nancy Pelosi to receive communion again.
I wouldn't doubt it. He's giving out pardons left and right. Right? So, all right, looks like we got Bill from Oviedo on line 2, who thinks he knows who said if the world were perfect, it wouldn't be. Bill, thank you for calling. Have you ever called before?
I have not called before.
Well, I appreciate you calling tonight, getting in on this contest. So, who might have said if the world were perfect, it wouldn't be?
It seems like it is someone who recently passed away to me.
And
I believe it is someone noted for his sayings, a Mr. Berra.
Yogi Berra. Actually, Larry Yogi Berra. So you're absolutely right, Bill. Congratulations. Of course, Yogi Berra did pass away this past week. and I was scouring through some of his old sayings, and I thought, this is, all of them had a degree of brilliance to them when you think about it. Right? I mean, it was brilliance coming out in sort of a funny way. But this one of them all, I thought, was the most brilliant. Bill, how did you know that he had said this, or were you just guessing?
Well, actually, I also researched a number of his expressions this week.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, you're going to get a $20 gift card from Cafe Positano, the finest Italian restaurant in all of Central Florida. And I'll have some in my pocket tomorrow night. If you show up, just identify yourself, and I'll give it to you right there at our pizza eating contest. If not, we'll send it to you in the mail.
Pizza eating contest?
Spaghetti.
Oh, I'm sorry, spaghetti eating contest, along with a My Liberty Threads T-shirt. So I hope Jeff got your shirt size. He said he did. So
Definitely did.
Okay. All right. You like Italian food?
I love Italian food.
Well, have you ever been to Cafe Positano?
I love it.
I think you'll love it. It's great Italian food. And Pasquale just got back in town. He was over in Europe. His son got married in Germany. Then he went to Positano, which is where he's from, for a little while. And guess what? They're all mad at us over there, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Bill, thanks for calling. God bless you. And
Thank you.
And please keep listening and keep calling. All right, that's what we like. You know, we like to spread the wealth around. We redistributing.
I'm going to start calling you Cardinal just now.
I'm feeling it from the Pope.
It was really hard for you to get those words out, just so you know. You tumbled over at least like 4 times.
But who's counting? All right, but look at that. The clock is counting, and it's counting down on this segment. When we come back, we'll pick up the conversation, though, on the Pope and other things, too. And please stick around and don't go away for more of the American Adversaries Sunday evening 3-hour classic tour, coming to you live on FM 105.5 and AM 660 The Answer.